This is a video of the test review for the test on equations that we're going to have on Friday of this week. And this time, instead of just giving you answers, I wanted you to see me actually working through each problem so that you could see the steps just for some extra help. Now, I'll be working through each one of these, and if you know how to do it, you can skip forward on the video. If you need to pause, you can to get a little extra instruction. So I'm just going to go through them one at a time, and we will work them out. Okay, when you have multi-step equations, the very first thing you have to make sure happens before you can start moving around your big rock, little rock like we've talked about is make sure you only have two terms on each side. This side's ready to go. It has a 3 and it has an 8x. It has the two terms it needs. This side is not ready to go. We're going to have to do some combining of like terms in order to get this down to two terms on the left side. Now, which two terms do you see that are alike? Remember, like terms have the same variable and each variable has the same exponent. So in this example, we're looking for x's, okay? So 6x, or positive 6x, and a positive 1x are our two like terms. So we need to combine them first. So positive 6x plus positive 1x is 7x. I try to keep my combined variables close to where something was above it, so when I go to add those later, that they will be, I won't have to look for them. So you may want to do the same, just keep your work neat. Okay, once I combine these, all I have left is this negative 4, so I'm going to subtract 4. Over here, I'm just going to rewrite, and yes, I do rewrite to keep everything on the same line so I don't have to look for what I'm going to work with in the next step. Okay, so now I'm ready because I have two terms on each side of the equal sign. So I'm ready to start moving around variables and constants. Now, we've talked about for the past 3 or 4 days, we've used our big rock, little rock example. Now, this keeps you from having to deal with any more negative coefficients later on. So I've always said it's easier to move little rocks than big rocks. So look for the smallest number of variables or the smallest coefficient in front of the variable. And here it happens to be 7. So to move this 7 over here and get it with this 8x, I'm going to subtract from both sides. Because what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. This ends up being 0 because a positive 7x and a negative 7x combined make 0. So all I have left over here is negative 4. Okay? And what do I have left over here? I have the 3 that's been waiting. And then I have positive 8x combined with a negative 7x leaves me positive 1x. Okay, at this point now it's just a two-step equation. Remember, always work on the side that has the variable because you're trying to isolate that variable and get it by itself. So we're going to do our reverse PEMDAS, our reverse order of operations to clear out everything on this side except this x. So I'm going to start with addition or subtraction. I have a positive 3 here, so to get rid of that, I'm going to add its inverse, which is negative 3. So I have to do the same over here. So now what is a negative 4 plus or combined with a negative 3? It's negative 7. Okay, so now I've got negative 7 on this side. A plus 3 combined with a minus 3 goes to 0, so that goes away. And I have an x over here, or 1x. Okay? So my answer is x equals negative 7. Okay, moving on to number 2. Again, we're going to do the same operations or the same things that I talked about a second ago. We've got to get it down to two terms on each side of that equal sign before we can start moving around our variables to combine them to get ready to solve. Now over here we already have the two terms. We have the 5x and the minus 9. Over here I have some like terms that I need to combine first. I have a positive 4 and a negative 5x that I can combine because they're like terms. And when I add those together, I get a negative 1x or just negative x. And then I have this 9 that's still there. going to write this over again just because I like to keep everything on the line at the same level. Now, I'm down to two terms on each side. Negative 1x, positive 9, positive 5x, negative 9. So now I'm ready to do big rock, little rock and start moving around my variable terms. So which one is the smallest, 5x or negative 1x? Negative 1x is smaller, so I'm going to move it. The way that I move it is do the additive inverse. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. This clears this out, which is equivalent to moving it. This is 0. I'm left with a plus 9. Here I combine these terms. 5x plus 1x is 6x minus 9. Now I'm down to my two-step equation, which we've been solving for several weeks. So the first thing you do in your two-step equation is you're trying to isolate this variable. So I've got to do addition and subtraction. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. That gives me 18 on this side because 9 plus 9 is 18. Here, negative 9 plus 9 is 0, so I'm left with 6x. Now my second step in clearing a two-step equation is division or multiplication. Here it's going to be division. I'm going to divide by 6, divide by 6. That gives me 3 equals x. If you want to write it, x equals 3. Because 3 times 6 is 18. Same steps over and over again. Okay, I have a mistake on number 3. This should be an equal sign, not a plus sign. So go ahead and change that to an equal. That way we can draw our line, dividing that into two separate expressions. Again, my goal is the same. I need to get two terms on the right side, two terms on the left side. My right side is already down to two terms, so I'll just bring those down. And I need to combine some like terms here. Here I have a negative 1x and a negative 6x. When I combine those, I get negative 7x. Now I'll just bring down my positive 7, and I have the two terms on each side, just like I need to get ready to start moving variable terms together. Now, big rock, little rock, which one's smaller? Negative 7x is smaller than negative 3x, so I'm going to move it. And to move that, I use the additive inverse, so I'm going to add 7x here. If I do that there, I have to add 7x here. This goes away because negative 7x plus 7x is 0, leaving me just positive 7 on the left. Over here, I have 19. And then I've got to combine a negative 3x and a positive 7x. And when I do that, I get positive 4x. Now it's a two-step equation. I do my addition or subtraction first. I'm going to subtract 19, subtract 19. That leaves me with negative 12 on this side. This goes to 0. And over here, I have a positive 4x. Now my second step in clearing the two-step equation is division. Divide this by 4 because that's what I'm trying to get rid of. So leave the x by itself. Divide this by 4. And my answer is negative 3 equals x. And if you want to rearrange that, it's x equals negative 3. Okay. Now, on number 4, we're going to move into doing a little distribution before we actually group our like terms. And this is a little practice, a little extra cleanup, but everything should still work about the same. So to get rid of our parentheses, which is our first goal in clearing up the left side, parentheses means multiply, so I'm going to multiply 3 times x, that gives me 3x. And I'm going to multiply 3 times a negative 5. Remember, the sign goes with the number that follows it. So that's minus 15. And then on this side, I simply have 4x. Now, I don't have two terms here that you can see, but there really is a plus 0 here. So actually there is two terms on this side, but we really don't have to worry about it in this case. Okay, look, which one is our little rock? Which one's our big rock? Our smaller coefficient on x is on the left side, so we're going to move that over to the other side by subtracting. So minus 3x, minus 3x. This leaves me with 0. So on this side, I have a negative 15 or a minus 15. Then on the right side, I have 4x's minus 3x's is 1x. So that one was really simpler than it appeared. So what I have as my final answer is minus 15 equals x. If you want to rearrange that, x equals negative 15. Okay, number 5. This has distribution that needs to be done on both sides of the equation in both expressions in order to clear both sets of parentheses and get us ready to solve the equation. So we're going to take this one step at a time. And to clear our parentheses, we multiply. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 6 is a positive 12. 3 times x is a positive 3x. 3 times a positive 1 is positive 3. Now, it's not so difficult because this sets us up with two terms on each side, so we're ready to move our variable terms to one side and our numeric terms to the other and solve. I pick which variable term has the smallest coefficient. Remember, the coefficient is the number in front of the variable, and it's 2x. So I'm going to move it by subtracting. Do that to both sides. That leaves me 12 on the left and x plus 3 on the right. Now it's simply a two-step equation. Actually, it's a one-step equation at this point. I'm going to subtract 3 from this side, subtract 3 from this side. That leaves me with 12 minus 3 is 9 equals x. So again, following the same steps, our answer is x equals 9. Okay, moving to number 6. This one already has the two terms that we need on each side of the equal sign. So I just get to start moving my rocks, as we say. I'm looking for my smallest coefficient that's in front of a variable, and it's 3x this time. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. When I do that on the left, 5x combined with a negative 3x leaves me with 2x's. Still have my negative 20 here, so I bring that down. When I do the same here, I've gotten rid of this set of variables, and I have a plus 2. Now I have a simple two-step equation, and I solve that by first doing my addition or subtraction. Remember, I'm working on the side with the variable, trying to get this variable on this side by itself. So first of all, we have to do any addition or subtraction. This is a negative 20, so to get rid of that, I'm going to add 20 to both sides. When I do that on this side, that clears that to a 0, leaving me a 2x. This side, I'm going to combine these, and that gives me positive 22. When I do my division, I divide by 2. That gets this variable by itself, which was my goal. Divide this side by 2, and I get x equals 11. My answer is x equals 11. Okay, you'll follow me to the next page.